Sox games in St. Petersburg the last 3 or 4 years. I might have been probably was over there for like 5 or 6 homestands at least. And you get a sense in that clubhouse, certainly on the road, Ortiz's presence was, there was no question who the boss was. No question at all.
He was running things.
And, and that was earned over 14 seasons and 3 titles and 688 in the World Series and all that.
Yeah.
So you can't expect any player to come in and do that. That's the manager's job.
Yep.
Again, his job title is manager. That's his title.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like when the killer whale. Remember the killer whale and she killed the person?
Oh, yeah.
But people are freaking out. It's a killer whale. It's his name. It's what he got.
Well, that's the thing.
Killer whale.
So, but David Price came into this clubhouse having not won a damn thing and just took it over. Like, why did the Red Sox, veterans, I mean, I know Dustin Pedroia, I guess he likes David Price, falls in line with David Price, but still, why wouldn't some other vet step up and go, no, what are you doing? You're like 150 in the playoffs. You can't win a playoff game. You've won nothing. You don't control anyone around here. But no one seemed to do that. They just seemed to fall in line with David Price.
I don't think Dustin Pedroia is the kind of leader that people think he is. I mean, you see him on the field. He's very much a leader on the field.
Yeah.
Off the field, in the clubhouse, he's pretty much focused on his own deal, which again is fine.
Yeah.
I don't knock a guy for not being a leader in the clubhouse. I mean, because some people don't have that kind of makeup. And frankly, Pedroia is, he's freaking horrible. He's like hitting 110 in the playoffs the last 10 years. But aside from, his leadership on the field during the game is enough.
Yep.
That's all I expect from him. I don't need him to be a leader in the clubhouse. Yeah. I need the manager of the team to manage the friggin' team and be a leader in the clubhouse because he's the boss.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need someone that can take control of that clubhouse, set people straight, and fall in line. We'll see if that happens. We'll see what Dombrowski does in the end. We'll see who he hires as the next Red Sox manager. Should be an interesting offseason with actual player acquisitions as well. See if go out and get another free agent to try to help that lineup and get some more home runs or hit some more home runs next year. But we'll have to wait and see if that happens. But for now, we do have to say goodbye for this edition of the Obnoxious Boston Show. We'll be back next week with an all-new edition talking Patriots-Falcons. Hopefully the Patriots will have come out with a W over the Falcons. But for now, for OBF, for myself, Christian Burgoyne, so long, and we'll see you next week.
Talk is back. This is Boston Herald Radio. Boston Herald. BostonHerald.com. Boston Herald Radio.
Hi, this is Tom Shattuck from Boston Herald Radio. As you know, if you've been listening to Boston Herald Radio at all, my hot water heater broke, and it cost us a lot of money, and my heart was broken, and the dog cried, and all I could afford to do was dream. That's until I found Find Mass Money. Seriously, I went over to findmassmoney.com. You know, we've been playing the spots now for a few years, and I found money. Findmassmoney.com. It's a free service from the state treasurer's office. I went to findmassmoney.com, and I found money. I swear this is true. So if you're on the list of people waiting to claim their share of $2.4 billion, that's a lot of money, of unclaimed property, then go to findmassmoney.com, or you can call the state treasurer. That's 1-888-344-MASS. That's 1-888-344-MASS. Findmassmoney.com. I gave it a shot, and it worked out for me. Findmassmoney.com.
Does your job have you feeling stuck? Do you wish you could take your skills to the next level? Do you want to turn your job into a career? Drive your career forward with CDL training from Parker Professional Driving School in Avon. Train for a commercial driver's license with Parker and begin an in-demand career with endless opportunities. We offer small classes, a variety of payment options, and lifetime job placement assistance. For more information, please call 508-583-1906 or visit parkercdl.com.
Because human genius has now destroyed the impediment of the terrestrial radio.
Boston Herald Radio.
Boston Herald Radio. Now, it's press time with Tom Shattuck.
All right. So big stuff happening in Washington today. They're indicting Manafort and Gates, two guys for some tax evasion and some other stuff in Russia years ago. And so we might be popping in and out of that today. I wanted to start where we never start, which is Hollywood, and this awesome Kathy Griffin stuff. I mean, I've even got Perez Hilton ready to go for us today. This is just great. Kathy Griffin just jumped on, made a YouTube video, just totally kvetching. It was called A Hell of a Story, Kathy Griffin. And she's kvetching about Andy Cohen, who I guess does a reality TV show. I don't know. He does stuff. You know him probably. He's a good-looking guy. I think he's a gay guy. I think he's on like he produces Housewives. He does. I don't know. He's kind of like Seacrest in the sense that he seems to be everywhere these days. So Andy Cohen. First, it starts with this. So Kathy Griffin. We all remember when she got in trouble. She does the head thing with Donald Trump. This is like 5 months ago or whatever. It's a picture of Donald Trump's, her holding his severed head with fake blood on it. And she has a little news conference.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Griffin. I am really nervous right now. I've never done a press conference. I don't really know how they work. Feel free to jump in. What's happening to me has never happened, ever, in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of the United States and his grown children and the First Lady are personally, I feel, trying to ruin my life forever. Forever. You guys know him. He's never going to stop. I know him. Trust me, if I could redo the whole thing, I would have had a blow-up doll and no ketchup. And I get what I am. I'm the shiny object. I get it. We all know what's going on here. They're using me as the shiny object so that nobody's talking about his FBI investigation. All right, I get it. I don't think I will have a career after this. I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. This isn't not right.
He broke me.
I apologize because that was the right thing to do and I meant it. And then I saw the tide turning and I saw what they were doing and I went, oh, okay, they're trying to spin this and they're making it about Barron, and obviously that was never my intent. I would never want to hurt anyone, much less a child, but I started to see what was really happening, and then it was a mob mentality pile-on. And so many people have expressed to me personally across the country at my shows, they're scared. So yeah, I don't know who's been arrested today. I don't know.
So there you go, Kathy Griffin, all upset, but it just wasn't enough.
Our pop culture lead now. CNN has terminated comedian Kathy Griffin as co-host of its annual New Year's Eve program following the emergence of a photo and video shoot deemed, quote, disgusting and offensive by a CNN spokesperson, in which Griffin is seen holding a facsimile of a bloody severed Donald Trump head. It first emerged yesterday and was roundly condemned, including on this show. CNN has decided to no longer show the gruesome images. Griffin initially defended the stunt in a since-deleted tweet, saying she was, quote, merely mocking the mocker-in-chief. She eventually backtracked and removed the image and issued an apology video message last night. President Trump said the disturbing imagery was affecting his youngest son, tweeting earlier, quote, my children, especially my 11-year-old son, are having a hard time with this. Sick. That's a sentiment with which it is difficult to argue.
So there you go. That's Jake, a personal shot there at the end. So then her life deteriorates. She gets in this big spat with Andy Cohen, who used to be her boss years ago, and now Andy Cohen gets a new gig. Gets her gig after they whacked her from CNN. He's going to do the New Year's thing with Anderson now, and TMZ. Now he throws epic shade, as I say, at Kathy Griffin. TMZ catches up to him about the new gig.
Hey, congratulations on the New Year's gig, bro.
Thanks, I'm really psyched. Planning it all out.
Are you planning it now already?
Trying to figure out what we're going to do. It's a lot of time. 4 hours.
4 hours, man.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Kathy at all in the meantime? Did you run it by her first before you accepted it? Or...
Who?
Kathy Griffin.
Who?
Kathy Griffin.
I don't know her.
The ex-host.
Oh, okay.
With Anderson.
Okay.
What do you mean? Like, she's the host with Anderson, now it's going to be you. You're kind of replacing her, right?
Oh, okay.
Because CNN gave her the axe. How come this is news to you?
I don't know.
So you haven't talked to Kathy Griffin about it at all?
No.
No.
So he's pretending to not even know who it is, and their people work close together. So Kathy Griffin has enough of this. Enough of TMZ. She's got enough of Andy Cohen. She's angry. So this is Kathy Griffin, a hell of a story. Her epic YouTube speech proclamation from a couple of days ago, and this just blew me the hell away. I will let you listen to it. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin, and I come to you today with the tale of two Harveys. Not just Harvey Weinstein, TMZ's Harvey Levin. So some of you may have seen a really vicious interview that my former boss, Andy Cohen, my boss of 10 years, did for TMZ. So TMZ is a blog and it's a guilty pleasure, and I get it. But unfortunately, it's really influential and a lot of people really believe it. So I woke up to this voicemail today on my phone. So for those of you that think, you know, I took the picture with the Trump mask and that thing's all over, it's not at all over. It's still going on, and in fact, it's gotten worse for me. So this is what I woke up to today.
Hey Kathy, it's Harvey Levin. How are you? It's Friday afternoon. If you have a minute, could you give me a call? I am at 818-972-0014. Hope all is well.
So that's his number, and I don't have a minute to call him. Maybe you do. The reason I did that is that during the entire Trump scandal, I was doxxed so much that people obviously got my phone number and my address, and the Trumpers came after me. And I just want you guys to know, Harvey Levin, a blogger, is very much in bed with everybody from Hollywood to Donald Trump. So during my 2-month investigation, phone numbers got out of my mom, and my mom got death threats at her retirement village, and my sister, while she was dying of cancer, got death threats at her apartment. So that's why I'm putting that out there. Now, I know because I did that, I'm probably going to have this taken off social media right away or whatever. So I'm actually asking you guys if you can preserve this tape in some way and maybe spread it around. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, Harvey, where the did you get my personal cell number? And who the do you think you are harassing me on my cell phone, calling me directly? Where'd you get my number? Your good friend Lisa Bloom. And I get it. I know the haters are going to say, well, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. But I'm a comic. So, if Oprah wants to come for me, I kind of deserve it. Ryan Seacrest wants to come for me. All right, I have it coming. But Andy Cohen, I didn't call you. You shouldn't have come for me. Let me tell you a little bit about Andy Cohen. He was a miserable boss for all those years. I mean, I think in the 6 seasons that we did My Life on the D List, I think Bravo visited the set twice. 8 Emmy nominations, 2 wins. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know the whole time I was working there. I didn't know that Andy Cohen wanted to be me. For example, I hosted this award show one time called the A-List Awards. Actually, they did it twice. I didn't know Andy Cohen was on the red carpet, trying to be funny, asking questions on BravoTV.com. I didn't know that when they ended the D-List and I desperately wanted to do a talk show, Andy Cohen would be the first television executive in the history of television to give himself a talk show that seems to get picked up every season. But I can tell you a couple of personal things. All right, so a lot of people, they're fans, right? And I get it. If you like TMZ and you like watching Housewives, fine. And by the way, shout out to Bethany Frankel, who chartered 4 planes and went to Puerto Rico and actually helped people. But people like Andy Cohen and Harvey Levin, who honestly just live to take women down, we need to speak up about. So I'm going to go back to TMZ for 1 second, because if you look at that site over and over and over, they've done hit pieces on me to the point where it's actually affected my career. For example, when the Trump mask photo came out, why did TMZ need to report every single one of my shows that was canceled in real time? Why? What was the point of that? What do they care if I had a show canceled at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey? It feels targeted. And now that we know that Harvey Levin is very much in bed with the Lisa Blooms of the world and, covering for people and, Tyler Shields, who took the infamous photo of me holding the mask, he's the one who told me that 2 people at TMZ told him Harvey Levin speaks to Donald J. Trump multiple times a week. Is that okay with you guys? The president is talking to a gossip blogger? All right, back to Andy Cohen, because there is coordination. One thing I just have to say, because if he's going to go for me, I got to be honest. I get tweets sometimes, and they're from fans that don't understand that I have a problem with Andy and that he really harassed me and treated me really poorly. For all of you that tweet me and say you wish I would go and watch What Happens Live and you like that show and you think I'd be great on that show, let me clear that up. I've actually done Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen twice in the, I think, 10 years it's been on. And I've never said this before, obviously, but both times I did the show, right before we went live, Andy Cohen privately asked me in an office in Embassy Row, which is the production company that does that show, if I wanted to do Blow. All right, I've never had a drink in my life. You guys know I'm no prude, but I'm like kind of a straight edge. I thought he was kidding the first time. Just so you know, Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers has never asked me to do Blow before going on the show. No one from The View has ever asked me to do Blow before a show, so I was hoping he was kidding. So the second time I do the show, same thing. So once again, we're alone in an office in Embassy Row, and he's like, "You want to do some coke?" And I'm thinking, he's serious. Like, so I know trust me, he's gonna say he was kidding and everything. No, he was asking me to do cocaine with him. That made me very uncomfortable. It was the two of us in a room. Michael Davies was nowhere to be found. No one was there from Bravo. And that's why I don't do that show. I thought that was weird. And I don't know why he gets away with that. Okay, as long as I'm calling up Bravo and NBC Uni, because just so you guys know, I'm fully aware that I will never work there again or any of their owned and operated. It's like, I understand what I'm doing, but I really feel it's important that I am honest about this stuff. So I'm sorry, I got to get into the women who are complicit. So during my years at Bravo, all these women went along with all of it. Lauren Zalaznik was a big executive there, didn't protect me. Now she, I think she was fired, and the woman who has her job is named Bonnie Hammer. So I don't think I could pick Bonnie Hammer out of a lineup. So obviously she wasn't very invested in my work there. And then later on, when I went on to do Fashion Police, it was the same freaking group of people. Andy Cohen, Bonnie Hammer, Frances Barrick, and you guys know how that ended. A wall of shit fell on me after that experience too, because I left that show because I didn't feel like they were doing Joan Rivers' legacy right, and I didn't feel like I could do a good job there. So that, of course, blew up in my face because it was a coordinated attack. And I'm sorry, I have to call up these women like Fran Barrick, who was supposedly my executive. And after the D-List, I did a talk show for 2 seasons called Kathy, and I had a blast doing it with no support. So Michael Davies was the producer, and he said the only way this show will get picked up is if I produce it, because they can't stand you and they like me. And I had a meeting with Frances Barrick in her office, and my then publicist, Whitney Tancred, who was a friend, and she turned on me too, and that one just hurts on a personal level. And I said, well, Fran, you know, if we do a talk show, you're sure that Andy's not going to try to squash it? And she said, no, I mean, of course not. It'd be different, like Chelsea. I mean, I wish we had Chelsea. And I said, well, I did get you guys 2 Emmys. And she said, well, we got you 2 Emmys. So, by the way, you should know that when Andy Cohen is running around saying he doesn't know who I am, he actually has 2 Emmys from my life on the D-List as a producer. His are fake, mine are real. And other women there, gosh, I'm sorry, but Amy Introcaso Davis, you didn't protect me. Jen Levy, you didn't protect me. They had never even done a special before my first special there. I delivered those specials, not for Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, tens of 20s, millions of dollars, but like for a very, very low price that they never would have offered a guy. So I got to complain about this stuff. And these women need to do right by other women. All right, regarding TMZ, I know it's a guilty pleasure, but this is a deeply misogynistic website. And even if you look at their coverage of the Weinstein case, for example, I looked it up today, and the only thing they covered with Ashley Judd, think of how difficult it was for her to sit down with Diane Sawyer and tell her story. And TMZ runs a photo of her with her face looking contorted. That's it. Every time they cover women, it's always their cellulite, and the ageism is out of control with this guy, Harvey Levin. I mean, every picture of an actress over 40 and God forbid 50 is, you know, how hideous they are and how attractive they used to be. And, you know, this hurts me as a longtime ally of the LGBT community. Like, I don't know, Harvey Levin, have you ever done anything honorable ever? I've also canvassed door to door. And I have been an ally of the community long before you were out. So what do you do except tear women down and make a bunch of money? And your TV show is such bullshit because you act like you're part of this like multi-culti world, and you've got people of color and women of all shapes and sizes, and yet in our private conversations, you're no different than a straight up deplorable. Like you are the gay male version of Kellyanne Conway. So you know the discussion that we had when I was hawking my book on your show, because when you're 56 years old and you're me and you don't have a television show, you will do just about anything to sell a book, even go on TMZ. And remember you pulling me aside and trying to like brainwash me into being a Trump fan, me of all people? And I tried to say, Harvey, you're a gay guy. You think Trump gives a shit about you? You think the Republican Party has a lot to offer gay men? How is that going? So I just want everyone to know, TMZ is very much in bed with this administration. Just look at it. If you don't believe me, just look at it. But the idea that Harvey Levin has like a vault in back with servers and dirt on everybody, like that's what you do, dude. That's what I try to make people laugh. That's all I want to do. If you and Andy Cohen and all these other complicit could just stop and just let me do my job, I just want to make people laugh, all right? So people should know that what you're going to do to me, because I know what you're going to do to me. You already called me. What was that for? Blackmail? A threat? You have an embarrassing tape on me? I ran out of give, Harvey. I don't give a certainly about you or Andy Cohen, who seem to be lacking a skill set, if anyone hasn't noticed. Like one time I asked the great feminist icon, I said, as a joke, I said, which has done worse to hurt, the women's movement, the Kardashians or the housewives, as a joke. And Gloria Steinem says, oh, the housewives by far. And I said, really, why? And she goes, well, at least on the Kardashians, they show interracial relationships. Yeah, look at all the shows on Bravo. It's middle-aged women pulling each other's hair out. That's not what we do, Andy, Harvey, your little besties. So when Andy Cohen did his little stupid rant about me, and you were so thrilled to put it on TMZ, and then I see that you personally retweeted it, yeah, this is coordinated. I'm on to you. I'm letting everybody else know what's going on. Now let me break it down for you how the agency and publicity business works. So I fired William Morris after the Trump photo because they just ran for the hills. And they actually have the nerve to send me a letter saying that they want 10% of my future earnings for the rest of my life. Well, you can all go yourselves, because I was already on the D list and doing specials when I went with you guys. Also, the head of the agency is named Ari Emanuel. Perhaps you've seen him in the lobby of Trump Tower. So the last email I got from Ari, my agent, oh, he's like family, was an email he sent asking me to donate to his brother Ram's mayoral campaign, to which I responded, is this a joke? And that was how many years ago, and I've never heard from him since. My female agents, I'm sorry, Nancy Josephson, you did not protect me. Publicist, Cindy Berger, you did not protect me. But here's what you don't know. I heard the tape of the two of you talking to Jeff Zucker. A couple of years ago, I got into a fight with Jeff Zucker. He is the head of CNN, and I know him for a long time because, frankly, he was my first boss at NBC. And after I was on a show called Suddenly Susan, Jeff was going to put me in a fancy sitcom, and then decided to just kick me over to Bravo, where a reality crew would just follow me around for 6 months a year and make 8 episodes. And I let him film it in my house, and it didn't even occur to me to charge them like filming rent for my house until season 6. I was so naive and just so happy to be on TV and making people laugh. So a couple of years ago, I got into a fight with Jeff Zucker because after doing New Year's Eve for all those years and really co-producing it and writing all the material, I had the audacity to ask for a raise. So when my agents wouldn't do it, I called him personally. And I wish I had a tape of that call because I literally screamed at him, who the do you think you're talking to? Well, I guess no one talks to Jeff Zucker like that because he slammed the phone down, and then he called Cindy Berger, my then publicist, who totally took his side. He called Nancy Josephson, my then high-powered agent at William Morris, who totally took his side. And then one of them said, not one of them, someone else said, if you really want your job back, and I did enjoy doing New Year's with Anderson. I really loved him, okay, guys? Like, I'm honest about it. I actually called back Zucker and cried to get my job back. And I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I did. So, you know, like if you guys see the housewives coming at me and stuff, taking Andy Cohen's side, don't be too tough on them. They're just trying to keep their gigs. So yeah, I think I'm like the strong bitch and everything. No, I called Jeff Zucker and sobbed. Please take me back, please. I was so wrong. You're the great Jeff Zucker. Because I wanted to do the gig. It was fun. And so he rehired me at a 20% discount. So I just want you to know, I'd like a refund from all of them, frankly. You know I'm not going to get it. And the reason I'm doing this tape is because of the Trump photo, because of the faux outrage that was pushed by Anderson's tweet and TMZ and obviously, literally, the federal government. I'm the first person to be put under a federal investigation by the Department of Justice for 2 months at the taxpayer dollars expense. I'm putting this tape out because I'm now on a world tour and it's selling out. And so far, every night the audiences have stood at the end of every show, and that is a fact. So when the bots go on your timeline and say that that didn't happen, they're bots and that's their game. But I just want you guys to know that tonight I have a show in Melbourne, I'm very excited, and I have a show in Perth, Australia after that, and then I have a show in Singapore. And the reason I'm making this tape is everybody has scared the hell out of me that I'm going to be detained because I'm on the Interpol list. So look up what the Interpol list is. I've also been told I'm on something called the Five Eyes list. I was on the no-fly list for 2 months. So I've been detained alone at every single airport I've gone to. So when I go to Singapore, if I just don't return, I just want you guys to know that's why. Because I took a picture of a mask with ketchup on it. It was not illegal. You may have hated it, but if any one of your kids ever took that picture and put it on Twitter, they shouldn't have to be on the Interpol list or be detained or be under a federal investigation. So wish me luck on this tour. 15 countries, 23 cities. All I want to do is do my job and make people laugh.
What job?
And one last thing.
You stopped doing your job.
Hey, Jeff. Happy New Year.
Yeah, well, Jeff's fine, okay? And Andy's got your New Year's gig. Kathy, that was a mistake. Having a 22-minute breakdown and slandering people who you've worked with and known, saying that Andy Cohen wanted you to do coke with him and nobody had your back, and slamming communications people, etc. That may not have been a wise career move. It may not. Usually for anything like this, I go to the expert of experts on such matters, my good friend Perez Hilton. Perez, just gonna get the camera set up. All right, buddy.
Let me get a good spot here.
Jesus.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am making this video as a response to Kathy Griffin's video that she uploaded today on YouTube. It's called Kathy Griffin, A Hell of a Story. It's a 17-minute plus video in which she takes down a lot of people.
Maybe I'll do a response video to Perez's video. Although he's got nice digs.
A lot of what Kathy Griffin said is very scandalous and her truth. And a lot of what she said...
her truth. It's a Hollywood thing.
...is bullshit.
Whoa!
Okay?
Did you get that, Christian?
Some of the more salacious allegations that Kathy drops in this video are...
Christian, press the button anyway. I know it doesn't do anything. There you go. Now we have what's that called? Plausible deniability or whatever it's called.
That
Don't swear anymore. Jesus.
Cohen was abusive towards her, and that Andy Cohen offered her cocaine. That may or may not be true.
Or may have been.
However, Kathy did a lot of things in this video that I don't think she should have. And if you haven't seen it yet, it might be taken down from YouTube. I've got a recap on my website, but I'm going to give you the recap now. Kathy threw a lot of people under the bus. Some deserved it, and I think some of them didn't deserve it. But there are a few realities that we need to address. First and foremost, Kathy Griffin will never work in Hollywood again.
Correct.
I don't understand what she's thinking. I don't understand the real motive of her video that she made, especially because in many ways she is so clueless and detached from reality. And I say this as a Kathy Griffin fan. You know, towards the end of the video, she calls the headless photo controversy faux outrage. All these months later, she's calling it faux outrage. It was not faux outrage, Kathy. You have to understand why people were upset. You know, I say lots of controversial things about Donald Trump. Like, I'd love to take a big fat
hey,
on his face.
Jesus.
But I wouldn't be dumb enough to take a photo of his decapitated head. I mean, just yesterday, I went dressed as the fake news media, humping Donald Trump.
My goodness.
To the Los Angeles Zoo.
What has happened to this?
Mature woman who's been around the block countless of times.
What is that supposed to mean exactly, Perez?
And for her to still be claiming that was faux outrage, it's very revealing. Also revealing is that Kathy isn't being honest about why she made that video. All of this stemmed from yesterday. Andy Cohen was asked about Kathy while at the airport, a silly, stupid, innocuous paparazzi photo that TMZ ran. And he said, who? I don't know her. Kathy Griffin is a gay man, and she knows that Andy Cohen was referencing the iconic Mariah Carey diss of Jennifer Lopez.
I don't know really what he's talking about anymore, I've got to say. I didn't know that about Kathy Griffin. I'd like to distance myself from Mr. Hilton.
It wasn't that deep. It wasn't that serious. It was funny. And Kathy Griffin's a comedian. She should have a freaking sense of humor. What she ended up doing was posting Harvey Levin's phone number, his cell phone, because she was so upset that...
I did look that up. It's not a cell phone. It's the business number, but it's better if you think if it's the cell phone.
He called her on her cell. Okay, you could say that, but did you have to blast his cell phone? I think that's illegal.
He would know.
I think you could be in serious trouble.
I assume Perez is a lawyer, right?
For that. And I think you should know better. I did that once in my 20s when I was really young and immature and stupid, and I regret it. It was against this former Gawker editor, Jessica Cohen, and I want to take this moment to apologize for that.
Another Cohen in the news.
I regret that. I'm sorry, Jessica Cohen.
Let me look up Jessica Cohen, see what she is up to right now. Let's see if she's on YouTube and see what she's got to say about this. We're going to track down everybody. Jessica Cohen, Gawker. Oh, there she is. From Mashable, Jessica Cohen. Oh, she plays the piano. This is nice.
And the International Consortium.
All right, we'll go over here to my friend from Radio Keith Orpheum from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. daily. Do not follow him on Twitter. I have got a good word that his Twitter handle actually has a virus, so do not follow him on Twitter, and certainly unfollow him if you get around that. Not that that's even a thing anymore, VB. Since my Belichick tweet here, you are in the dust.
It closed within 5 on you, Shattuck, and now it's back up to 17, you son of a bitch.
Yes, as it should be. All right, so how bad a day for Donald Trump is this?
Well, let's start with how bad a day it is for me. I am currently talking to you in a house without power. Haven't had it since 3 a.m.
Oh, you kidding me?
It does not look like it's coming back anytime soon. I am now eating shrimp that has an odor to it, but I gotta do it.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, my God. You know what? Let me tell you something. I've lived in Melrose for 6.5 years, and we've never lost power. Never.
We lose it periodically, but my neighbor, we have a tree line in our backyard that's pretty big.
Scott, the neighbor Scott?
No, the other neighbor, the other side neighbor, has a huge tree down on their power line.
Oh.
That's going to be ugly to take care of that. It's not good up here. This is ugly last night up here.
Was school canceled up there?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Jeez.
Tomorrow's supposed to be a half day because Halloween, they're doing a half day teacher day kind of thing. But now I don't know because None of the roads, there's 3 roads to get to my house. There's 4 to get to my house. 3 of them are blocked by trees down, and they're everywhere. So you gotta just wait your turn, basically.
Incredible.
Not good.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. Geez, sorry. Oh my God. But, I mean, you are a 1%er. When you buy the mansions and you have all the acreage, you can have the damage like that, PB. So, in a way, you had this coming, but I'm sorry. What's everybody
On the other hand, I don't have money laundering charges hanging over my head, so I guess it's not all bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're not surprised about Manafort. I think everybody thought that this Manafort thing was going to happen. I didn't know who this other guy was. But people say that, okay, they start low and they go to the top of the totem pole. Isn't this a solo joint, this Manafort thing? Isn't he the top of that totem pole?
Could be. Don't know. I mean, I've seen it both ways. We remember the probation scandal when they announced their big indictments, which was a secretary and an aide, and everybody said, oh, man, now they're going to shake the tree. Well, they shook the tree, but there was nothing in it, and they got nothing. Other times I've seen it where, again, another one of those examples would be the the scandal in Boston with Brissett, where you thought, okay, is he going to trade up? Is he going to talk about the mayor or whatever? Never happened. But I've seen these other ones where you get a lower guy, and then you do get the big fish. I mean, Giuliani did that in New York, and that's how he helped clean up the 42nd Street area. Guys started trading up. So it depends. This feels to me like this is it, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I just
this
think
is nothing Trump, right? So you shake these 2 guys and you say, but if you want to talk about this other thing, well, they weren't even there that long. I mean, I don't know how much they could really have. It's awesome stuff, okay, but Manafort doesn't seem like that kind of guy. I don't know.
No, he's been a guy who's been unincarcerated his entire life, and I think he's got certain built-in tools to make sure that stays steady. Hey, so for Trump himself, so what happens now if they take these 2 guys down? Manafort does 3.5 years or whatever, and the other guy the same thing. What happens to the Russian theory?
Nothing yet. I mean, nothing's changed on it, has it? I mean, you're still talking about uranium one if you're on the right. If you're on the left, you're saying collusion, but we just can't prove it. So.
That seems rather weak, collusion, but we just can't prove it.
Yeah, well, isn't that what it is?
Yes, it is. Everybody's terrible.
I mean, the idea of what does the word collusion mean, Shattuck? I mean, you and Graham go, hey, let's go cruising chicks, but there's no collusion if you're not both able to work something, right?
Right. I think collusion.
The idea is,
collusion would be with when they got my friend Dwight Evans out of baseball. That's the best example of collusion. 1991, I think, managed to make sure the owners got together and said all the highest paid players, let's just shelve these guys or move them around or something like that. But
collusion is very hard to prove, unlike money laundering.
Right.
If I'm Manafort, I'm going, oh man, because once you throw that charge on somebody, there's a reason. There's transactions that look pretty squirrely and they're hard to defend. And when you start talking about Cyprus banks, I don't know. I don't know about you, Shattuck, but because I don't live in the swanky town of Melrose, so maybe you do. You get an account? You get an account in Cyprus?
No, all my assets are in Qatar.
Do you have any account where a Russian said, hey, try this bank, I'll vouch for it? Because that's usually a sign that maybe you should go the other way. But that's what happened there. Collusion is... Okay, let's say Trump admired Putin. Let's say Putin wanted to mess around. Okay, where's the collusion?
I don't know. I know. There's nothing to it. Obviously, this is just BS because of the election. We all know this. Trump is right about this. His instinct is right about this. If anything, I'm worried about more anti-Trump people getting overexcited about this stuff because I don't think it's going to end the way they think. I think they think they're seeing something unprecedented now, and they're not. This is the Scooter Libby, route of somebody's got to take the hit, unfortunately, in an administration, and it just happens. But
to me, the big thing here is every time something like this happens, you say, okay, what can you glean from it? Well, if we're going to get a peek inside of the foreign government bank moving money deals, which Manafort's case is going to show you, what do you then do with that information? I can think of a foundation you would want to look to and say, well, if Manafort did something guilty and was very suspicious, was that same foundation that got a lot more money from the Russians than Manafort ever did, were they doing something similar to that? We don't know, but it's once you see how it works, wouldn't you think those that are even more skilled at manipulating it, we know who those people are, would be doing the same thing? Can you make something stick there? That's how I would read this.
Oh, I know, and the fact that Bill got so much money from him, it is just so it's just so incredibly filthy. But the narrative has been set that was then and this is now, and that doesn't matter anymore. And only Trump matters. He's the executive, so whatever. So tell me something. I know you can't watch any TV now, but when you're able to again, are you going to watch any Kevin Spacey movies?
Well, let me just tell you this, without power, put my daughter down for her nap, my 2-year-old. Tell the 3-year-old and the 6-year-old, whatever you do, quiet, because the noise machine isn't working for the baby.
Mm.
They're now singing outside of her room.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And because you have me here wasting the little precious phone battery that I have, there's not much I can do about any of this. So, Kevin Spacey... You know, I said this on the air this morning. Where am I and what time am I?
Radio Keith Orphy. We can get him promptly at 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., which time you're going to go on to Boston Herald Radio, and hopefully, if I get in here in time, you'll hear noise.
I tell people always, like, take directors, for example, judge them by their best 3 films, and if you've got 3 that you can put up against anybody, you've done something. Well, take Kevin Spacey. Usual Suspects, 7, L.A. Confidential. I would put those 3 up against any actor in my lifetime and say, these are 3 good 3. I can't look at any of them the same now. I really can't.
It sucks. I agree with you. I mean, I don't think there's a better actor out there. I mean, he is so good. And it sucks.
I think on Baby Driver, he was good in that.
Really? I mean, he's good in everything. He's good in SNL. He's good in anything he's in. He's awesome. This is terrible. It's like the people that I needed this to be. Why not Ned Beatty? Why not John Lithgow? You know? Why not the who's the kid from the Sun? Who's that kid? People love him. He's somebody now. You can know it. I want to hear it.
How's that?
That's good. Yeah. Well, I found some I have 4 pounds since I've started the exercise. It's 20 minutes, dude. Listen to this. So you let me help you for a second with this exercise. All it takes is 20 minutes. It's 30 seconds of sprinting and then 90 seconds of walking. For 20 minutes.
Here's the deal. I don't necessarily spread that thing. Well, I have like 3 3/4 kids. You only have 3. I have no time.
You know I have another one en route. You know that, right?
Didn't know that was announced. Wow, big spoiler alert.
I mean, you announced it, VB. On Radio
He's got another one. Oh, man.
Radio Keith Orphy, or wherever that was. Hey, when are we going to do a podcast or something? To be honest, let's admit it.
What part of no time do you not understand? It's killing me. It's rough, but...
I think Jim Browdy bought RKO, and who knows what's going to happen in print. I mean, we're going to need gigs soon.
Let's get back to the Spacey story for a second, because there's a couple of interesting things about this story, right? One of which is that this did happen 31 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And there wasn't actually an assault, right?
Well, no, it wasn't. I don't know if you carry somebody through a threshold like they're a bride, if that's technically an insult. I think it's untoward.
He fell on him or he climbed on him. But we're not sure how far this went. Yeah. But from what we're told, that he got out of the room and everything. In other words, one of the things we're all doing here is there's no way that was the only time he pulled this kind of maneuver, right?
I would say you're correct on that.
But we have no factual basis for that either, right?
Yeah, but I think by the end of today we will. This one feels like a target-friendly environment, certainly. Him and
he's one of the hotter actors going right now. This is the difference with Weinstein. Okay, producer mogul, but so what? And then you've heard about all these now deceased pigs or guys that are out of the business. But Spacey, he has one of the biggest shows going. I know it's on the downside, but House of Cards, and he's still very much in movies. I just told you he was in a big movie this summer. this would be the first really big one to go if he goes. And don't we all assume he's done?
Yeah, I don't think they can go on with any of this stuff. Although, like you said, I mean, I thought his apology was so, it was such a ballsy thing to do. I mean, with the nerve of the guy, awesome, to come out as a homosexual today. Like, Jesus, really?
Well, first of all, he comes out like, did anybody know he was in?
Right, yeah.
Like that I think it was Jake Tapper of all people who tweeted, Spacey comes out in 1997. This assault comes out in 2017. That's about the timeline, right?
Right.
Nobody didn't know. Nobody hadn't heard. One has nothing to do with the other. And it reminded me of McGreevey, your favorite governor of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a gay American. That's nice. What about the Russian spy you were unknowingly sleeping with? That was the part that was the reason for the press conference. So I don't know how that helped Spacey in any way.
Right.
But I don't know. What can you do? Like, did you see Mark Halperin's apology over the weekend?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, under the circumstances, it was as heartfelt as it could be. And then I finished and I said, so?
Right. Well,
good
also,
for you, but I don't care. The horse has left the barn.
Oh yeah, he's done. And but also with Spacey, he says, I was very drunk. It sounds like, half the inmates at any given prison were very drunk when they committed their crime. That's not an out, really.
Well, you've been very drunk many times
Correct,
in your life.
I am
You've
now.
never gone after a 14-year-old boy. Like, that's
Not
where there's
14.
the disconnect.
Not 14.
Or even only when you were 14 in the woods at Thanksgiving with your neighbor. That was the only time I think it was you. But there were drugs involved in that, actually, VB. It's interesting you say that, but I was the younger of the two people, let the record show. It was a coming-of-age experience for you. The wishbone wasn't the only thing that day.
It was my
I don't know if I've given you updates, but T- whatever time it is now, no power. No power.
Jesus goodness. Well, you'll have power tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. at W Radio Keith Orpheum.
You know what happens, Shattuck? If we don't, I won't. You know why?
Why?
Because my car is in the garage right now. I cannot open the garage door without power.
Well, how'd you get it in there?
I got out this morning at 3, and about 15 minutes after I left, the power went out. Actually, you're right. Technically, my car's not in the garage. My wife has it at the doctor right now, so I guess I will be on at 6. You're correct.
You'll be on at 6, or you pull the Cameron from Ferris Bueller and just hit the gas and get out of there that way if it's like that.
Sergeant George J. Peterson, Chicago Police Department. That's one of my better impressions.
I know. Hey, you know what? The thing about that is I've been told that house, Cameron's house, is actually in Portland, Oregon. And I have other people who say, no, it's up in Chicago where John Hughes filmed everything else. So it's a bit of controversy, baby.
I know a guy that I see often that has a lot of useless information, and I am going to tell him tomorrow that I know another guy that has more useless information than you, and it will be you, Shattuck. That was randomly out of nowhere.
That is incorrect. I am valedictorian, Winchester High School, VB.
You've never been to Portland, Oregon, by the way.
1991. I have been to, what's in Oregon? What's the capital? I've been to Seattle. Is that in Oregon? I don't know. I've been to Seattle.
Yeah. Hey, please tell me someone's there making tapes of this. If that's not a promo, there's a reason why Tom Shattuck's on Boston Herald.
I'm going to work on our...
Seattle. Is that in Oregon?
I'm going to... Oh, by the way, you saw my Belichick tweet, right?
Tape?
Christian, you see my Belichick tweet?
I saw your Belichick tweet.
Yeah.
However, did you see the Bushes throwing out the first pitch last night?
No. Oh, God, no.
Well, in honor of that, I feel you owe it to your radio audience to play your exclusive with Barbara Bush during the Republican primary. You were the only one to get her as an exclusive. You seem to have forgotten that.
That is a great point, actually. Let me see if I can find it here.
Coach, the game was played predominantly in the teens. Is that a game, a style that you're comfortable playing?
What are you talking about?
Oh. Well, not scoring a lot of points, not high-flying offense necessarily. More low-scoring, grind it out. Is that a style you like, that the team prefers?
Low-scoring.
Well, we prefer to win.
That is beautiful. Whatever you think of it, Belichick has his good and his bad. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I can't find my Bush interview.
We prefer to win.
Oh, it was a dumb question. It was.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you kind of know what he was getting at, but it was just foolish.
What are you talking about?
Why does he have to do the damn things? I mean, I love them. Who is that?
What are you talking about?
Is that Eleanor?
No, it's Owen. Yeah, Owen and Eleanor are both asking for Preacher candy now.
Oh man, you've got nothing.
Owen, do you
there.
want candy?
All right.
Yes, I am candy right now.
Good man, Owen. Eat all the candy before it goes bad because you have no power right now.
Eleanor, what is our favorite candy, Eleanor?
Skittles.
Skittles,
It's
really?
our favorite candy.
Well, you're lucky that you even have those rather than sunflower seeds because Daddy's mean about food sometimes. But Skittles are fine. They're not exactly M&Ms, but they're fine. I enjoy them here and there. I am very healthy, so I don't eat a lot of them, obviously.
How about Sour Patch Kids, Dom?
Oh, my kids love Sour Patch Kids, and my wife loves them too, but I don't like that. I like chocolate chip cookies.
Do you like Swedish Fish Bake Man?
I like cake. I want chocolate cake as big as your house, and I'm going to eat the whole thing myself. What do you think?
You strike me as a Mary Jane man.
Where do these kids get this, you know?
You strike me as. Every 2-year-old says you strike me as.
Owen, what's your favorite candy? Is it Reese's Eyeballs?
Ooh.
No, it's a like Reese's Eyeballs.
What's your favorite?
What is it? That I want it.
Ooh.
He's a Reese's man. Anything Reese's with Owen. He loves it. Here's Ella's favorite.
My favorite is Swedish Fish.
Those are good. What do you like chicken beaks?
And the rock pop.
Eleanor, do you like chicken beaks?
What chicken beak?
How about the beaks of chickens? How about fish eyes?
Go eat your tripe.
Tripe is really good.
These kids, I don't know where they picked this
I just had some tripe. It's very good.
My kids, Shattuck, I don't know about you, but there really isn't one they're not comfortable getting tomorrow. Like, you can't go wrong. They love the sour stuff and the gummy stuff. They love... Oh, he doesn't know about the Switchers. Eleanor wants you to know, though, no nuts in hers, Shattuck. She can be a little bit allergic depending on what it is. So.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I've got the same thing. My kids, so our littlest one is allergic to eggs. So they were the other kids were making cupcakes yesterday, and they had the spatula and eating the raw stuff, and they gave him a big tablespoon full of the stuff.
That was a shot to the leg, right?
With eggs. No, we didn't. I want to save that. Those EpiPens are expensive, VV. So he's
no joke. Except they have a shelf life. You don't want to use them until the last day, and then you want to use it all.
Oh yeah, geez, I didn't know they had a shelf life.
That's when you'll be giving them, like you'll be doing this. You'll be giving them the Rocky cocktail. Pop 6 raw eggs in a thing and tell them to down it just so you can use the EpiPen.
Absolutely.
What are the Shattuck kids going trick-or-treating as?
Batman. Little James is Batman, and Sally...
Little James is Batman, and
Sally is Wonder Woman? No, she's
Ella, what are you gonna be?
Batwoman.
Hold on, let's find out what Ella's going to be.
Nathan from Hotel Transylvania.
Ooh, Hotel Transylvania.
And what are you going to be, Owen?
A Prince Halloween.
A what?
He's going to be the Grinch who stole Christmas.
Good man. Good man. Our little one's going to be Yoda. So listen to this. There's a controversy now. You know how there's on Disney Junior, which you used to get when you had power, there's now a Transylvania show?
Oh, we're familiar with it, yes.
So Alice is very upset because she's from Serbia, or her parents are from Serbia, and they're suggesting that everybody from that part of the world is blue and are vampires, and she wants some justice.
That's a controversy. That's a controversy. You're telling me.
Yes, indeed. She wants it. She wants it shut down. She wants filming shut down of that particular piece.
How does this work, by the way? So this is your significant other we're talking about. Mm-hmm. She's from Serbia. You end up with her, and you make her move here. Like, that seems backwards.
So she's not from Serbia. She's an American.
You should be wherever she wants you to be, and you should be thanking your lucky stars that she's carrying you.
Well, I'm very attractive, so this is going to happen where,
Last question for you, Shattuck, because I don't know how much phone battery I have left before we get some blankets, kids. It's getting chilly.
Get some blankets.
Maybe a candle, start a fire. What percentage of your kids' trick-or-treat haul will you be consuming yourself?
There is an 82% luxury tax that has been implemented at the home. So I will take everything that's except for ribbon candy and anything that
no one has ever given out ribbons. My son will trade you for the Neckos, however. He loves the Neckos.
Oh, my.
Yeah, big fan of them.
Oh, that would be the only graft I would never want to get. VB, thank you very much. People can... VB is not on Twitter, so don't try to follow him. If you do see something that looks like at VB the Wise, you want to unfollow and report to Twitter, definitely. And you can follow Tom Shattuck. You can listen to him on Radio Keith Orpheum at 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. every day.
And if things don't turn, tomorrow I'll be back as we'll be setting up a GoFundMe, Shattuck. Jeez.
Yeah, no kidding.
16 hours without power.
My goodness. Well, that's the mansion life has its downfalls. Thank you very much, VB. I appreciate it.
Later.
God bless you. This is VB. That's a man with a mansion. I know very few people who have mansions. He is one of the very few. Well, let's go up to Suckaby Sanders in the White House press briefing room and talk about everybody who's been indicted today.
The president would be for a phase-in or against a phase-in?
No, I said that the president laid out his principles, and it doesn't include the phasing in, so we're still committed to that moving forward. But and I don't have any reason to believe we have changes on that at this point.
So the red line of the 20% corporate.
I'm not drawing a red line. I'm just saying those are the principles that we've laid out, and we haven't adjusted or changed our principles since this process started. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.
We've been watching the White House press briefing. Obviously, they covered
Where'd you go, kid? Sanders is gone. That's it? Wow, it was a short presser. Well, obviously, she broke down the stuff of the presser and all that.
Yeah, she was up there for like about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Total.
Well, yeah, and of course, she wasn't gonna really answer anything. I'm not surprised. But there we go. Some indictments today. We'll see what happens. I would suggest that that there's no real reason to think that this is going to mean anything. I just don't think it's going to mean anything because too many people want it to mean something, and generally it hasn't. In other administrations you've had this. Christian, I know, is excited and is hoping something will become of this, but no such luck.
Sox games in St. Petersburg the last 3 or 4 years. I might have been probably was over there for like 5 or 6 homestands at least. And you get a sense in that clubhouse, certainly on the road, Ortiz's presence was, there was no question who the boss was. No question at all.
He was running things.
And, and that was earned over 14 seasons and 3 titles and 688 in the World Series and all that.
Yeah.
So you can't expect any player to come in and do that. That's the manager's job.
Yep.
Again, his job title is manager. That's his title.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like when the killer whale. Remember the killer whale and he killed the person?
Oh, yeah.
But people are freaking out. It's like, no, it's a killer whale. It's his name. It's what he got.
Well, that's the thing.
Killer whale.
No, but David Price came into this clubhouse having not won a damn thing and just took it over. Like, why did the Red Sox, veterans, I mean, I know Dustin Pedroia, I guess he likes David Price, falls in line with David Price, but still, why wouldn't some other vet step up and go, no, what are you doing? You're like 0-150 in the playoffs. You can't win a playoff game. You've won nothing. You don't control anyone around here. But no one seemed to do that. They just seemed to fall in line with David Price.
I don't think Dustin Pedroia is the kind of leader that people think he is. I mean, you see him on the field. He's very much a leader on the field.
Yeah.
Off the field, in the clubhouse, he's pretty much focused on his own deal, which again is fine.
Yeah.
I don't knock a guy for not being a leader in the clubhouse. I mean, because some people don't have that kind of makeup. And frankly, Pedroia is, he's freaking horrible. He's like hitting 110 in the playoffs the last 10 years. But aside from, his leadership on the field during the game is enough.
Yep.
That's all I expect from him. I don't need him to be a leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
I need the manager of the team to manage the friggin' team and be a leader in the clubhouse because he's the boss.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need someone that can take control of that clubhouse, set people straight, and fall in line. We'll see if that happens. We'll see what Dombrowski does in the end. We'll see who he hires as the next Red Sox manager. Should be an interesting offseason with actual player acquisitions as well. See if go out and get another free agent to try to help that lineup.